Hello, Tea Treats. Welcome to episode 5 of Nightcap with Sweet Tea. Tonight, we are going to be talking about parenting styles and how people are raising their kids and what values they are instilling in their kids and how their upbringing is different from, or how it may be different from their children's upbringing. So, we're going to have 3 guests with us tonight. We have a married couple and we have a single, so we'll be getting both perspectives tonight. Let's see who's here so far. Hi, Shelly.
Hi. Are we alone?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Dirts. I'm sorry, Rico, aka Dirts.
Hey, what's going? Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
I don't sound messed up enough, do I?
Nope, we can hear you just fine. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How y'all doing?
Good. So we have
I said, Chanel, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice I was getting ready to do that.
Don't take it too long.
Chanel, this is Rico, a back in the day friend. And Rico, this is Chanel. I met Chanel at church, and she has become a lifelong friend as well.
All right.
We're missing someone.
She coming down in a second. She had to get Alana squared away, and then she ran upstairs to grab something real quick, so she'll be right back.
Okay. How you doing?
Doing all right. Just took Tonio out. He had went to the track so he can do some work real quick, and then and came back just to get that in for him because I told him I would.
Okay.
Yeah. And here she go.
Hi,
my Kimmy.
hi, Sari.
How are you?
How are you?
This the whole time.
It's been a long time, Miss Kim.
It has.
Oh, Kim, this is Chanel. She is my lifelong girlfriend.
Hi, Kim.
Let me clarify that, because that may sound it. She's my friend, my girlfriend, but my friend.
Her heterosexual girlfriend.
Yes. For the people that
Look, I was like, I didn't hear about that one, so right?
Right.
Hear about that one.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all taking time to join me tonight.
Yeah.
So we are going to jump right on in. So we're talking about parenting styles tonight and how what's different with maybe your upbringing versus how you're deciding to raise your children or child. In your case, Chanel. So Chanel she's been a single mom. She has one daughter. And so I'm happy to actually have Rico and Kim on here because Kim and Rico are married. They have a son together, and Rico has a daughter. So Kim is a stepmom. So we get that perspective as well. So are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, Chanel, because you being a single mom, what was or was, because your daughter is an adult now, the hardest part about being a single mom and raising a daughter?
Oh my God. The hardest part is just the work of it all. It's difficult to work a job and then also come home and start your second job. For me, my daughter was in activities 6-7 days a week. So I personally believe in keeping kids busy so that they don't get in trouble. So, but the sacrifice of that is you're the only one chaperoning all the time. And it's just exhausting. It's difficult to balance your energy as a single parent and give everything you're supposed to give and provide.
Yeah, that idle time is something. Allowing too much idle time with kids can definitely be dangerous. So
Yeah.
I have taken on the same concept with raising, my kids. What about you guys? What have you find to be one of the most difficult things with raising your children? I know that you guys have a unique situation too.
Go ahead. Let you go first.
Honestly, it's kind of a tough one. It's one of those, I think right now for us, it's finding time for us together. We, if I want to go out, he's here with the kids. If he wants to go out, I'm, vice versa. And as with Chanel, Antonio is in two sports right now. He's doing football and he's doing track. So all but 2 days a week, he's at a practice or at a track meet or a football game. So for us is trying to remember us, together. We try to make time throughout the week after the kids go to bed. But you think about it, after working, even though we're home, after working, cleaning up, getting the kids ready for the next day, you're tired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I say for me, the difficult part of parenting, obviously there's that part about us and our time or whatever, but it's just staying in our kids' heads, because especially my son, because they're being fed so much stuff nowadays with TikTok and all of this other stuff, and there's a lot of stuff on the media that you got to stay in front of, because unfortunately my son, he'll ask questions, but he's being fed a lot. We can't censor all of that, so I just try to put values and morals and stuff into his head up front, just so that he knows to question certain things versus just accepting everything that he's being fed as gospel. He's thinking that just because it's on social media is real, as kids are going to think, because they don't know any better, which is why most kids don't have a social media account. So that's why they got the age requirement. However, he has one for football, and he does stuff, and I tell him, try to keep him as advised as possible, parental advisor as possible. But he does well with it. He's still respectful. So we just try to just keep those values and stuff in front of him, so that he knows when to question things. He's not easily influenced.
Rico, do you mind explaining like the ages of your children you have, and the sizes of your children, and the unique situation?
Sure. So my firstborn, Alana, she was 20, just turned 20 June 12th, actually. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. That's my pride and joy right there. My first one, my little sweetheart. So Alana's situation is unique because she has special needs. She was born healthy. She's a victim of non-accidental trauma, which is basically shaken baby. And that happened when she was 14 months. So, she was walking, doing a little bit of talking as you would at 14 months. And that was completely taken away from us, and life was changed August 5th. I never forget, it's my dad's birthday also, of 2002. And she has become blind because of it. She's got paralysis on the left side. She's still in diapers and everything. So I don't care what nobody say. I'm gonna change the diapers longer than anybody out here, But she's strong. That's my fighter right there, and she gives me so much inspiration, because out of everything that she's been through and all of that, she still smiles. She still has this infectious smile. I love her to death, and she keeps me going and reminds me of my why. But that's my baby right there. And then my son Antonio, he'll probably come flying out here in a minute. He's 10. He like she said, my wife said, plays football and runs track out in Anne Arundel County. And he's just the most respectful kid ever, and I love that, because we very much put that, especially Kim is very much, from the day he was born, everything was thank you. I come from a very military family, so everything is yes sir, no sir. That he kind of, I don't require that of him. He kind of just picked it up and does it, because my father would tell him yes sir, no sir, or something like that. So he kind of just does it. But great kid, he gets a lot of accolades, and not to brag about him, but I feel great that he is sticking to the stuff, and it shows that what we're doing is working. So it's validation for us, so that always feels good.
Yeah, that's awesome. How has your upbringing impacted raise your kids? Like, are there any similarities? Anything? Or I know that you just said, Rico, that, you come from a military upbringing. So how much of your upbringing has impacted or influenced, your parenting?
Okay. I mean, you want to go first? Or Lay or Chanel?
Yeah, I was gonna say Chanel.
Oh, she went on mute. All right, don't
Yeah,
matter.
Chanel,
You want to be respectful.
I hit a little puppy dog.
Well, my my upbringing maybe severely affected my parenting. I come from the South. Everybody in my family is a preacher, cousins, uncles, my mother. So I feel like I tell people I feel like I was born saved. I wasn't allowed to do anything other than go to church. And I could go to like school dances or something like that, but my mother would come and get me at 11 o'clock. And she had to walk in to the gym in rollers and dress for bed and take me out. I couldn't go outside. So, I've really tried to go not in the opposite direction so much, but I have definitely been a little bit hands off in terms of allowing my daughter to experience life a little bit more. I definitely, I raised her in the church, but, and I made sure that she knows God and knows the importance of having faith in your life. But she has been allowed to do pretty much whatever she wants to. She's always been on a roll student. She's a very good kid. Haven't had any problems, pretty much. So I've kind of tried to steer away from being as strict, I guess, as my lifestyle was, and keeping an open mind. It's kind of hard not to do that, though. Like you said, with social media, I didn't have that growing up. So,
for me, I had my mom. I lived with my mom. Well, my parents were together, but my mom passed when I was 12. So it was my dad from 12 to 23, 24. Like I literally moved out 30 days or 29 days before I had my son. So for me, my mom was, you look at my social media page, phenomenal. She raised 19 foster kids. Like she wanted more kids. It's me and my brother. My brother is 15 years older than me, but she had 5 miscarriages in between us. So she had a passion and a love for kids. So she also loved special needs kids. She worked at a special, what they call a training school. And that's where I feel like my love, for Alana and how, I kind of adapted to that because I saw my mom do it frequently. My dad, Chanel, I have to agree, the strict one. I broke many rules, including with this one until I moved out. I had curfew until I was 23 years old because that was his house, his rules. Mm-hmm. But as, piggybacking off of what you said, I too try not to be as strict. It definitely helps that, I have Rico because, he has that male perspective, that male side. And he's only 10, but still, social media, your friends, you're hearing stuff, you're seeing stuff. He's asking questions. I'm like, hey, excuse me, can you ask your dad? I'm not answering that one. But I really do thank and appreciate my parents for my upbringing because until the day my mom passed away, it was nothing but respect. You respect your elders, treat everybody with respect. My father, I thank him for being so strict because I could have been completely different. I had many a times where he rolled up into the skating rink talking, come on, with his slippers and everything. I was just like, oh, okay. But I think it definitely helped pave a path for me to have those core values to raise especially a respectful Black kid, a Black male kid, and for my mom, it was just seeing her juggle her own kids and, the foster kids and the special needs kids. So I feel like I picked that up. And, obviously I'm not the best parent, but I do give myself kudos because it's a lot, whether your kids are perfectly fine or they have, special needs.
All right. Like I said, I came from a military family. It was very I'm probably the most boring. She okay? Okay. I'm probably the most boring. I really didn't do much. I mean, I'm not gonna say I had a great childhood. Don't be wrong. I grew up with both of my parents, who are still living out Laurel today, and they're still together. So I've had that, and very blessed to have that. My father did a lot with me and my little brother growing up. I mean, it's 6 of us. Well, now 8 of us technically, but it's 6 of us growing up. And me and my little brother were in the house, my older siblings from a previous marriage, but we're all brothers, sisters. And my father did everything, fishing, sports. Well, I played sports, those type of things. And he was always there. He was a presence. And that's kind of what I kind of carry with me with Antonio. I just want to be there. I want him to be able to come back and be like, me and my dad do this. So I think that's important because there are some children, especially kids on the team. There's a kid on Antonio's team who witnessed his dad kill his mother. You know what I mean? Like that's, and like when he talks about it so nonchalant. He was like, yeah, my dad shot my mom in the head. I was in the car. And I'm just like, and Antonio was like stuck. He was kind of just like, what? And he didn't know what to say. You know what I mean? But he knew enough to not say anything, kind of just be like, oh. But it kind of freaked him out. But anyway, back yeah, so I didn't do a whole lot. I didn't go to my first school dance until senior year. You know what I mean? I didn't go to none of them before that. I was very shy, very, very shy, very not sure of myself growing up. I was always just I was the quiet kid in the back trying to fit in. I'm telling you, I'll probably say I didn't start to like find myself until I was about 27. I ain't gonna lie. Really. Like I was always around. I was always there. I got a lot of friends. I kind of just blended in, chameleon. You kind of I fit in everywhere. Never really had any enemies, few fights, whatever. But it wasn't really anything crazy like that. I just kind of, I got into my trouble and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But the only person who knew about my trouble just passed. Rest in peace to my dog. So, clean. I don't want to say clean slate. It sounds kind of bad, but it's like he took he was a G. He took everything. He took everything with him. So. Yeah.
Chanel, with how old was your daughter when you became a single parent?
I was married to Deja's dad for 10 years. We separated when she was 7. And 6 or 7. And we were divorced, I think, when she was 9.
What type of discipline did you have in place for her once?
In general, before or after?
Once you became a single parent, how did you discipline?
I probably would say not a whole lot changed. Her father would refer to me as the law. He is not so much of a disciplinarian. So I always did that part anyway. I might invite him into it, but he's just not that. He's a fusser, but he doesn't really discipline. I believe in don't spare the rod. So I also did a lot of talking. Yeah, a lot of talking. Because I grew up in the age where children, adults are talking, you leave the room, you don't ask questions. And so I grew up kind of dumb to a lot of things in life and naive because of the strictness, because of that, So I was purposeful about explaining things to her about life and why the answer's no, and not that you deserve to be told no or given an explanation, but I want you to understand this is not about me being against you as your parent. This is about your protection. Fortunately, I have to do a lot of spanking, but I did do spanking. But I tried to do a lot more talking. And I still do. My daughter's 22, but I still do a lot of talking.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. I find that that's very
Still
important.
whooping.
What about you, Kim and Rico? What type of action do you guys have in place?
I would ask you. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I gotta now. Granted, my son, like I said, my son's a great kid. I've only had to tear into him a few times, but it doesn't mean that I won't. But I think it's But I grew up the same way. It's like, you know, there's I'm really big on respect. Really big on respect. You know what I mean? You have to. I don't want to say know your place. I don't mind you asking questions, but you respectfully. You know, sometimes you can ask questions later, but you do what you're told. You can. And I don't want to hear outside of this house that you were acting any kind of crazy way. You're a representation of the family, and that's what I try to talk to him about all the time. Wherever you go, people are going to know you for who you are and talk about you. In today's age, something about you will get out to the whole world in the click of a cell phone. So, you know, you try to be respectful and everything. But yeah, I believe in not sparing the rod. But I do talk to my son. The times that I've had to discipline him, there's always a conversation afterwards, and just because I want him to be able to understand. He's very much he's less afraid of being hit and more afraid of the words. He kind of just gets stuck, almost like he's just stuck. And like you could be talking to him, he's just be like, yes, sir, yes, sir. He doesn't understand the thing I'm saying. He just wants it to stop.
He wants it to heal.
You know what I mean? So he's just like, yes, sir. And I was like, what did I just say? He's not comprehending anything. So I'll let him chill for a little bit, and then we'll have a conversation after.
Yeah.
So I am a talker. I'm a big communicator, but I will, you know, put my paws on him if I have to.
Okay. I'm in total agreement.
No, like Rico said, Antonio is, you spank him, you're not gonna see a tear out that boy's face. You've seen like one. But tell him he can't go play football, he can't play the video game, you can't go outside. Like it is that's more discipline. That'll hurt his feelings more. For his dad to say, I'm disappointed in you, I'm mad at you, that does not sit well with him. So I am the fusser. I'll yell. I'm the yeller, like, Antonio, stop, don't do this, don't do that. But he's the, give me no video game for 2 days. And I'm like,
he has to understand. I try to understand and get him to understand privilege, right? You have stuff that you're supposed to do every day, stuff that you have to do, school, cleaning your room up, stuff like that. You don't get rewarded for that because that's stuff you should be doing because that's your job, right? But I do reward him for doing things like he wants V-Bucks, you know, for his video games or something. So I was like, if you read a book and you write me a book report, I'll give you V-Bucks. Like I want him to work for his stuff. I don't want to give you an allowance for cleaning your room. You're supposed to do that. You know what I mean? So I want him to get in the habit of doing those things so that he does them when he gets older. Otherwise, he's just gonna be messy because he thinking I'm supposed to get paid for this and I'm not.
Yeah.
You know? So I want him to learn that he should be keeping stuff neat, and it helps because then you can find things. When I have to call him and say, you got everything ready for football, everything better be in that bag. We get all the way down there and you be like, I don't have my cleats. I'm about to knock you out.
So one of the things that growing up in my home, in my family period, even from my grandmother, we had a very open home. Like there was nothing off limits that we could not talk about. My mom was extremely open with us. I remember growing up, my friends' parents being really strict and they were limited and kind of like what you described, Chanel, just wasn't aware of a lot because they parents didn't talk about certain things. They stayed with subjects. So I'm very open with my kids. Like we can talk about anything because I rather it come from me than them learning from their peers who may not even have the correct information or, you know, telling them, you know, information that's not true. So how open are you guys with your kids, or how open have you been with them? And anybody can speak.
I'm going to say that Hopefully she can't hear me. I'm gonna say that I don't know if I had the right balance with that. I wasn't my parents, but um, because Deja had only seen me with her father the first half of her life, I didn't allow her to see me date. Uh, and that was, strange. For me, my priority was her. So that just wasn't important for me at that time, with her developing. And I wasn't comfortable really with other men being around her. So I would only date when she was away with her dad or with my parents for the summer. So um, I think that, oh, I didn't allow, she never had any social media accounts at all. She turned in her phone at 9 o'clock at night. I give it back to her in the morning, that type of thing. I just didn't play. When she left to go to college, and Terry, you know that she went buck wild. Like I'm telling you, I've had no problems from this girl at all. So I was shocked out of my mind. She tried it all. And I just was like confused. I was like, who is she? I don't know who she is. So I wish that I had exposed her a little bit, I guess, to my dating, to even alcohol. I wouldn't do anything in front of her. I wouldn't cuss in front of her. I wouldn't allow rated R movies. It's just, I wish that I had given her a little bit more so that she wasn't so curious when she left home.
So that was your way of feeling like you were protecting her.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Or how open are you guys with Antonio?
I like to say that we're actually very much on the same page with this, that we'd rather him learn and hear things from here than versus outside. I have to give Rico a lot of credit for that, because there's some conversations that I just wasn't even ready for. And he comes upstairs, oh yeah, well, I talked to him today about it. I'm like, wait, already? But because of the time that we're in, he has questions. And I do like that he's comfortable talking to his dad. Like, he'll ask me certain questions, but I feel like him and Rico really have that, like, obviously he knows and respects him as his dad, but he'll go, Daddy, what is this? Or why is this? And
Daddy is his safe place. He feels comfortable.
Right.
It depends. It depends. Tonio knows when he wants to go to his mom, if he feels like it's something that I might not agree with, or something that he feels like it might upset me or whatever, he'll go to his mom first. But he does communicate with one of us, so that's fine. I talk to him all the time, and want him to trust me to tell me stuff. But it's more so when he's asking for things, like he wants to get something, he knows I'm going to tell him, because I'm not going to give him something for nothing. Like, why do you feel like you deserve this? Why do you feel like you earn this? Right? What did you accomplish this week? Things like that. You know what I mean? I was like, I will always support you in whatever you want to do. It's not about money or anything like that, but you don't just get because you asked. You know what I mean? Like, you have to earn your stuff. Like, you make money, you want to buy something with your money, you got this much money, do you want to spend it all on this? Yes or no. It usually is no, because he don't want to spend everything. So he'll kind of be like, I mean, I'll do some of it. And sometimes he'll offer. He was like, I'll buy it for you. I'll buy you something or some things like that. You know what I mean? But I want him to hold on to it. So he's got a kind heart. He got a big heart like his mom. But I'll say we're as open with him as we should be with a 10-year-old. He has asked questions like, social media, right? So he saw, and he didn't even have a social media at the time. He just happened to see, TikTok is kind of open, and the George Floyd thing was on. And he was like, Dad, the cops killed this guy for nothing. And I was like, let me explain to you, because I don't want him to just run around thinking cops are killing people for nothing, I've got friends who are police officers. I've got family who are police officers. So it's just, you want to make sure he's getting the correct narrative when he's when he's getting his information. But he will come and ask. And we had a somewhat sex talk one time, only because he was asking about why him and his sister have different moms. Mm-hmm. So I gave him a very Cliff Note, very G-rated I was probing him. I just asked him, does he know, do you know what sex is? And he was like, no. And I was like, I'm serious. It's okay if you know, like, just tell me if you know what sex is. He was like, not really. So I explained that to him, what sex was. And he was just like, okay, and then I was like, so when I was with Alana's mom, we fell in love and we had sex and we made a baby. Now I didn't talk about protection and all of the other stuff, you know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't say I was shooting the club up, I was just kind of just like and your sister's here, and then me.
So it was age appropriate.
Very, very age appropriate.
Make sure it was age appropriate. Yeah.
I don't shy away from the questions or be like, go to your room. We're not talking about, you know what I mean? I'll entertain whatever question he has because I want him to get the right information. Because if not, he's going to go look it up. They're in that age now. You just Google. You talk to Siri or whoever.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I did shy away from when she was about Antonio's age was gay relationships. We would be like in the mall, and I would see in the distance two women are, holding hands, and I would go in another direction. I was just like, I'm not ready. I don't know what to say. I just can't. And I remember I was trying to go around somebody once, walking through a Macy's, and the Mac counter was there, and there was a man, big burly man in all makeup. And she was like, why the man have makeup on? I was like, Jesus, I'm trying to get away from one over here. And I just went right in. What? I don't know.
So what age would you guys say it's safe or you feel comfortable with, going more in depth with the sex talk? Do you wait until they come with more questions, or you feel like they're in middle school now, they should know, a little more? Like, how would you approach that?
I think it's a mix of both. I think that you get to a time and kids start to you hear his friends talk. I see his cell phone, like his text messages with all the other boys from his football team, and some of them are real grown or think they are, and they have some risque conversations on there. He just be like, I just get off because I don't. He doesn't. He really does though. He was just like, they started talking crazy. Like if they start cussing too much or something, he gets off of that because he's like, what's the point, right? But so it's a little mix of both. You kind of just gauge it. Like he hasn't got to that level. I mean, that age yet. I didn't have to do that with Alana, obviously, because of her situation. But I think it will be, I should say, a mix of both. I've had like my cousins and stuff like that. You have conversations with them, and you just kind of know. They start talking about girls, or you kind of just see their mannerisms and stuff, and you just be like, "Are you had sex yet?" Because they get taught sex in like 5th grade. I think we had sex ed in like 5th grade, right? So that's his next year. He's in 5th grade, so it's like he's gonna know what sex is from on a scientific level at that point, right? And then the conversations just start happening. So I don't know if there's an exact age. It's more of just when I don't know. I guess when they just started to get curious. I was a late bloomer as far as having sex, but I was very sexually curious early. Like you catch your dad's old porns or some stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I knew what it was and saw what it was, but I was very much didn't have it till like 18.
Yeah.
Late bloomer compared to my friends.
Right. I know, like with similar to what you guys are describing of Antonio, with my son, he was my firstborn for 9 years. So that was my joy. That was my heart. That was my everything. And he was so quiet. Boys are so different from girls, but he was so quiet, so laid back, just kind of in his own little zone all the time. And so to me, he was innocent with everything, right? And I remember his dad and I had gotten into a back and forth about him cursing. His dad was like, I was his age before, he's cursing. He's definitely cursing. I say, he is not cursing. I guarantee. So we're just going back and forth. And I was just like, I bet you he's not cursing. My son does not curse. And I want to say this was probably 7th grade that this happened. So I just happened to come home from work early. And lo and behold, he's in the basement playing this game. He didn't hear me come in, and all kinds of inappropriate words that I didn't think was in his vocabulary was just flying. So my heart was so broken. Not believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, like his father was right for first time, probably. No, I'm just joking, but so I'm saying that to say that a lot of times we want us to think that our kids are completely innocent because of what they display to us. Honey, they find a way. They may, and I'm not saying that this is y'all case, but I'm just saying I was floored. Like I was totally shocked when I heard him, cursing.
It's real.
I think it's shocking sometimes to realize how different households are. Like, I feel like if a child's old enough to ask it, then it's time to have that talk. And like, I didn't have the conversation with Deja about sex or anything like that until she asked me, what does the word gay mean? Because her friends were talking about it in school. So, I mean, I had to have that conversation, but I think it's a lot of times it's so hard to understand. Like I was shocked to find that maybe even at least 30% of Deja's friends had gay parents. And I didn't know until she was in middle school. And so she already had been exposed. And I just had no idea. I had no idea. But yeah, I think if they're old enough to ask it, it's time to talk.
So how would you guys feel if your children decided to be with the same sex?
That is, I know how I would feel. I would feel, I don't want to say I would be mad, but from a father, from a heterosexual father, and what I want from my son, I would just feel, not even that I failed him, because I know it's his choice and all of that, but I would feel some kind of way, I guess, a little bit disappointed, not in him so much, but in the fact that he didn't live up to what I had envisioned for him. And not that that's his fault. It's just that I have a vision for him. And that's something that I'd be like that. It would be a little bit of a shock. It'd be an adjustment because, as my faith and everything, and it's no judgment to anybody else. It's just as my faith and what I believe in. That's not what I'm bringing as an option to him. You know what I mean? I look at that like, and it's going to sound bad, but it's the analogy I use for people because I had a conversation with somebody one time and they were just similar. And they were like, like, how would you approach your son about, homosexuality and stuff? And I was like, I'm not. Like, I don't want to it's like talking to him about weed. Like, I don't want you to smoke weed. I'm not going to bring that up in conversation. Like, yo, you want to smoke weed? It's you have that option if you want. Like, that's not what I'm going to do when it comes to his sexuality. You know what I mean? But I let him see we're affectionate in front of him. I want him to see that. I want him to understand that. I want him, but ultimately it's his choice. So we would have to deal with whatever. But, I'm not going to make him fight it. I would have a conversation with him, but I'm definitely not. I don't think I would start the conversation. Now, there has been times where we watch TV or something like that. And now, I mean, you can't get away from it. It's on TV. It's on cartoons too. You know what I mean? And he's like, why is the boy kissing the boy? And I was like, I don't know. I think that is one thing that so far I've kind of bypassed. I haven't had that conversation. And I don't want to, because I don't want to say the wrong thing, especially into that. Like, I don't want to be like, because they wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of just like, I don't really know. I just be like, I don't know. That's crazy. Don't even watch that.
So I've learned, I was like very much like that. Not so much with my son for some crazy reason, I guess, because it just wasn't so in his face. But with Mackenzie, I remember her being younger and I was feeling the same way as you guys. Like with Chanel, I would see it and I would be disgusted. I was like, I don't want her to see that because I felt like it would influence her, because kids are so impressionable. And it's like my daughter from my son, my daughter's a very curious child. So she's going to try some stuff. I remember I could have like straight up conversations with him and I can see his wheels turn and like, okay. And I can feel him like believe in me and almost like, not respecting how, my thoughts, but I guess more so like cherishing, the things I told him. But on the flip side of that, I want to be able to educate them as much as possible. So even those hard conversations and even those things we kind of want to stay away from because, it's like, I don't want to say the wrong thing or I don't want them to be so curious, so impressionable that all of us are, it's safe to say all of us are Christians on here. And so what I do is give that perspective and how it's supposed to be and how God says it's supposed to be. However, if you decide differently, I'll support that because I'm your mom and I'm never going to turn the biblical way. And then, and then I will, let her know that, some people just make other choices and decide that, they want to go against that. And that's a choice. But just know firmly that this, if capital IF, you were to go in that direction, know that you're certain of that and you're not being persuaded by anybody else. It's very touchy. It's sensitive because again, I know like you guys, my vision for my kids, but I don't dictate their end, and my son could have been very rebellious and he could have resented me because I pushed him to go to college, like because that was my for him. You going to college, like I pushed him to do that. That wasn't his thing. He had said that all along. Like school is not for me. I never liked school. I don't want to go to school, and I'll just go and try it. You don't know, just go. And he wasted 2 years. Now we have debt from college because that's not what he wanted to do. He had a vision for himself, and I think as a parent, for me, I need to support that for my kid as long as they're not doing something crazy and illegal and they're not into drugs. They're not into like, he's a good person. He's not into drugs. He don't, he has a vision for himself. And I had to wrap my head around that and be okay with that and be supportive of that because my vision for my kids may not be what they want. And so that's tough,
Yeah.
I would be devastated. I would be devastated. But I'm at a place where, first of all, I have a gay brother, a super ultra gay cousin, and two female cousins that were hetero, then gay, then back to hetero. So it's been actually three. So it's been all over the place and I've had to explain a lot of things. So that conversation had to happen at different points in times, obviously. And I just kind of got to a place with the whole gay conversation that it's their life. It's their life. Of course, just like Terry said, we have a vision. We have certain things that we want. My daughter has already shattered that ceiling and made it very clear her life is her own. So likewise, she has to answer for her life. I don't answer for her life. So I let her know how I feel. I let her know my thoughts and concerns and share the same with Jesus because I can't control that for her. So I hope that wouldn't be the case because of what I think the eternal implications are. That's devastating for me in the faith that I have, that, the outcome is not positive. So who would want that for somebody they love, whether it's their child or not. So.
What about you, Kim? How would you feel about that?
As with Chanel, devastated. I do have a lot of gay family members and a few friends that are gay. I think, as crazy as it sounds, I think gay men are actually very fun people to be around. Like they are very fun.
Yes.
However, to see like if that was like my child.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah,
No,
ain't no fun no more.
it's not fun no more. But as everyone has said, it's one of those things where you try to bring them up and show them how we were brought up. Because I've been avoiding the question. He's asking, why is everything rainbow? We walk in Target, it's all, why is this all this rainbow? Mommy, why is this on my phone? It turned rainbow. What is pride? I don't know.
See, I don't think I would have a problem having a general conversation about it. I think it's more like, I guess when he's starting to compare, and then I'm like, oh shit, all right, let me, you know what I mean? Like I'm fine. Like if he would have been like, there was all this rainbow stuff, blah 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 blah, I'd have been like, it's for Pride Month. If he asked me what Pride is, I was like, well, people who are gay, they celebrate, being able to be free in their decisions and who they are. And then kind of kept it real general, and he probably would have just been like, oh, now if he would have been like, what's gay? He didn't know what gay was. Because right now, like they say it, but it's like a jokingly thing, like, you're gay, you know what I mean? But they don't really, some of them know, but they don't know fully. They don't know the sexual piece behind it. They just think.
Yeah.
My fear with that is, and I guess again, this is why I'm so open with my kids, is they get so curious that they start talking about it with their friends, and their friends are they don't know how to truly educate them, and so then they develop whatever that's not the truth, or could be whatever, I don't know, but that's my fear. I'd rather have that hard conversation, that uncomfortable conversation, versus them being so curious that when they go to school, they're asking their peers or talking to their peers about it.
Well, I gave a very general, I said people are free to love who they want to. And this is their celebration. And he was like, oh, okay. He's like, it's lots of colors. Everything's rainbow. And he went on about his business. Somebody called about Fortnite. I said, yes. Yes. But, I'm not going to disown my child if that's the path he chooses. I can't. That's a piece of me. But it would definitely be, like Rico said, I would feel in some way or form like, how did I fail him? Because we're affectionate, and he knows, we're around a lot of other families that, it's husband and wives, and there's moms and dads. So, I'm just like.
Yeah, but I think the problem is, I'm not gonna say the problem, but the thing with gay now is that it's exploded to just being gay. Right now, you've got transgender, you've got the whole alphabet, you know what I mean, that you have to kind of explain. Mm-hmm. And it's not just about who you love. Now you're self-mutilating. Now you know what I mean? Now you're believing that you are actually another sex. Like I couldn't, like the whole Dwayne Wade and his son thing, you know what I mean? And props to him for being able to have that strength and being able to, I guess, be there for his son and or adult, whatever, in that way. But I don't think that I could have allowed my son at that time, at that age, to make those life-altering decisions. Like if you get to an adult and you are now grown, but I'm not, considering changing the gender of my child when you don't even know this stuff just started happening. You do that at 14, 13 years old. You don't know how they're going to develop when they get older or what they're going to be. And I don't want him having to go under the knife or doing all of this stuff to himself and not being happy with who God made him from jump. Or for him to go around and try to convince other people, you need to call me a they or whatever the pronouns are, because, like just be gay, be happy. I don't understand. And the funny thing about Dwayne Wade's child is that, he's saying that he's not gay because he's really a girl who likes boys. So he's not gay, and I'm just like, all right, this is so much behind it to unpack from that I'm like, I don't want to say I'm not ready for that, but I would have to probably be like, no, bro, like that's not, I don't know if I could, I don't know. I guess you got to, you don't know until you deal with it, but I'm just like, yeah. So those aren't the
I agree. I definitely agree with Rico. I think I would never in life want to raise a child right now, because it's like anything goes. And I would be so worried about experimentation because of kids are curious. That's the natural part of children, is to be curious, to experiment. And I wouldn't want my child to experiment. So I would be terrified, honestly.
Yeah.
I just feel like what he's saying is that it's not just people with money that are doing these sex changes. It's people like us that are supporting this with their children. And there's a fight to have this to be a regular thing covered by insurance. And it's just like, they're not even fully developed.
Yeah.
Like, how do
Make
you
these
come to a
decisions. That's what I'm
decision like
saying.
that?
Like, you don't let children make grown decisions, but they're able to
Yeah.
tap into this at whatever age. And they're even talking about when they're babies to not call them a boy or girl because they can't decide. Like, that's
Yeah.
some of the craziest stuff to me.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mhm.
And like I said, I don't knock anybody for their preference or nothing. You know, do you or whatever. But you can't force me to not use my eyes, my five senses, and be like, or you look like a duck and talk like a duck. Just because you wear high heel shoes, you still got to wear feet.
Yeah.
Or you a duck. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know, that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kim, how have been, I don't know, every household, have their own term. I don't know if you go by stepmom, bonus child, bonus mom. But with Alana, aka Lucy Lou, how has being a stepmom um, been? Like, what's that experience like?
So I've been around Alana for 13 years now. And I do call her my bonus daughter, because, it's a bonus. I have my little girl, even though she don't like getting her hair done and stuff, but we make it work. But I do have my thoughts and feelings about certain things, and I do express them to Rico. But one thing that I've always respected about him from jump is that it's been a path of respectfulness from her mom and from me. He's not going to take, from either one of us. So it wasn't like a biased thing. He's very, because at the end of the day, we're here for her. It's not, she wants him back, or, that it's a catty thing. I would say recently, her mother and myself have gotten on a term where we can text each other things back and forth just to keep that open dialogue. But Alana prepared me to be a parent, because Rico and we had only been dating a year and a half, and doctor's like, "Oh yeah, you're pregnant." Ooh, what do you mean? But she's taught me definitely a different level of patience. She's taught me, I call her resilient, because, Tonio gets a little scratch or something. I'm like, "Oh, you fine. You all right." Because, Alana, she goes through so many other things. So, overall being a stepmom or bonus mom, it's fine. I really don't look at her any different. It's my child. When she's here, she needs to be changed, fed, dressed, just like the child upstairs. So
Most of the time, unless we actually verbally let people know what the situation is, most people just think that's our kids anyway, because of the way she handles her. And my parents love the way she handles her and has taken to her. And her mom has even, my daughter's mother has even said, that she does great with her. You know what I mean? And there hasn't been any drama. I'm very big on that, because again, we're here for her, especially in her condition. She needs a support system. So for that to be rocky, is a deal breaker for me. Like, I'm not deal breaker, like relationship wise, sugar. Is a deal breaker, whatever. Like, I'm like, we're not doing this, and I've had that conversation. I've told her mother after we had, broken up and everything like that, like anybody that I do date or end up with or marry or whatever the case may be, is they're going to know that you're her mother. They're going to respect you as her mother. And I'm always going to keep that. I've always kept that. And I've had times where somebody I was dating, they had a lot to say about that. They're no longer here because not because of that. It's probably other stuff too, but I really didn't like that. I was like, you're going to have to. This young girl and this woman is going to be a part of my life forever. So,
yeah,
you got to figure that out.
yeah.
But she, as far as being a step parent, man, she doesn't really come out and be like, I'm stepmom. She might say bonus mom to like the school and stuff because they know people who know. But she really treats her like it's her daughter. So
Cool. All right. Lastly, guys, what, if anything, would you do different as a parent now in hindsight? Maybe some mistakes you made, or maybe you were too hard on them for whatever reason. Is there anything that you would change or do differently?
yeah, I wouldn't give my son so many choices. I came from a household where like dinner was just dinner. You didn't say, oh, what do you want to eat tonight? You know what I mean? You just dinner's ready. Boom. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like because of that, they feel a little more entitled at a young age, and they feel a little like they're deserving of like, why didn't you ask me what I wanted to eat type? And I'm like, what? Knock you out. Hey, you gonna eat this food? Versus her, who's like, what do you want to eat? We've got this, we've got that. I can run to the store, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, don't give them all that. Like, here's the food. Eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you give a child a choice, they're gonna pick, and it's always gonna be something crazy or something they don't need to be eating, or something that's 20 miles away, a Chick-fil-A on Sunday. I'm like, no, we ain't got that.
Yeah. I would that would be my thing as well. Like introducing him to more things as far as just food goes. But truthfully, I feel like, as parents, there's no blueprint. You make your own. Like whether you're married, you're dating, you're single, it doesn't matter. There's no blueprint for dating. Every kid is different. Of course, I'm pretty sure every parent has said some things, it's like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And I'm a believer in apologizing to my kids. If I've said something wrong or I've done something wrong, I'm going to apologize because I need him to understand mommy was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. There's been curse words to come out. I apologize. I'm sorry. I was upset. I was frustrated because, you're doing so many things, but, to do something different, I'm like I said, I'm not saying I'm a perfect parent, but I think what we have going on is a learning experience. And as they get older, their moods, their attitudes, everything's going to change. So you just have to adjust as you go.
I definitely would agree with what Rico said. I think the choices gets into a problem. And it carries on into life. The other thing for me is I always made it clear that my daughter's voice was important. Just because she's a little kid doesn't mean that your thoughts are not important. And now, my daughter is bossy. She is controlling. And if nothing else, she's gonna make sure that you know how she feels. And that's kind of too far gone. I don't have that personality, but my mother does. So she's definitely a little too outspoken. I was a step parent as well. I still consider myself to be a step parent to some extent. What I would change in that aspect is when I was about to leave my marriage, not long before, my stepson told me that he did not want me and my daughter around, that he just wanted his father to himself. So when we separated, I left it at that. because he was 15 or 16 when he said that. And so I felt like he's old enough to know how he really feels. It was devastating. It was very painful. But in the aftermath, he felt like I abandoned him. And if I could go back and redo that, I would have more conversations with him like I had with my daughter. But not being a primary parent, I didn't feel like I had the right to speak up. And I didn't think it was important, but I think it is now.
I think we lost Rico and Kim again. So I don't know if they'll be coming back in. So we're going to get to the game portion of this segment, and then we're going to wrap it up. So this game is Would You Rather?
Mm-hmm.
You decide, what choice. Hopefully they'll call back in or get back in. I don't know what happened. Get up early or sleep late?
Sleep late.
Be out of toilet paper or be out of toothpaste?
Toothpaste.
Really?
Yes. I brush my teeth.
You'd rather be out of okay, yeah, because there are other. Yeah. Okay, I had to process that. Okay. Oh, there you are. We had lost you. So we're at a portion. That's okay. We're at a portion where we're playing the game. That's going to be the last part of the segment.
Okay.
I've asked two so far, and the game is called Would You Rather? So the first one was get up early or sleep late?
Get up early.
Get up early.
Be out of toilet paper or out of toothpaste?
Toothpaste.
Ooh, toilet paper. I mean, no, toothpaste.
Toothpaste.
I'd rather be out of toothpaste.
Netflix or Amazon?
Netflix.
Amazon.
Order takeout, cook dinner.
The fire stick. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Right. I think I know Kim's answer to this one. Order takeout or cook dinner at home?
Let me go ahead and cook.
Chanel?
Cook dinner.
Cook dinner. So let me tell you, Kim can burn. Okay, I have not had her food in years, and I'm so jealous. When I say this woman can put her whole foot in a meal, and you know how people can either cook a meal or they can cook dessert. She's versatile.
Yes.
She's very versatile.
Okay.
So, and Rico gets down as well, but I still don't think he can touch his wife.
I can't.
I need to get some of Kim's food. What's the next holiday? 4th of July.
It's always a good day to eat.
Wash dishes or wash clothes?
Dishes.
Wash dishes.
Dishes.
Would you say?
Dishes anyway.
Clothes.
Would you say Chanel?
I said dishes. Does loading the dishwasher count?
No.
My problem is I wash dishes and put them in the dishwasher to dry. I'm weird like that. When you use the dishwasher. I'm so used to we used to wash them in my house all the time, so I never really used the dishwasher.
That's funny. Meditate or exercise?
Exercise.
Oh, they froze again. Browse Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
Work from home or work at the office?
What season of the year? Work from home.
Text message or video call?
Video.
Okay, they're coming back in.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I bet. Sorry, I switched to the phone because our Wi-Fi keep going out.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm gonna go back to you guys. Chanel answered these already, but the next one was meditate or exercise.
Exercise.
Browse Facebook or Instagram.
Instagram.
Work from home or work from the office?
Ooh.
Work from home. Well, can I get both? Like,
nah, you gotta pick one.
I go from home then.
Yeah, work from home.
Oh. Text message or video call?
Text message.
Did you answer that one, Chanel?
I said video call.
Okay. Read a book or listen to an audiobook?
Read a book.
Listen to an audio book.
Order groceries online or go to the grocery store?
Oh, I'm going
Order
to the
online.
store.
Go to the store.
Going to the store.
Yeah, I will have to go to the store too.
You know how many people's groceries got dropped off at our crib?
Really?
We waited for they had perishables in there. We tried to refrigerate it thinking they would come, but they didn't come no time soon.
Wow.
Wish that happened over here. That's never happening.
You just took the words out of my mouth. Well, guys, I thank you for joining me. I appreciate y'all time. So the way I like to end my podcast is with a nightcap. And the nightcap is someone that you can choose to have a nightcap with. And it does not mean it has to be sexual. It could be somebody that is inspiring or someone you look up to, admire, or whatever it is for you. And so while you guys think about that, I'm going to tell you who my nightcap is. My nightcap would be DJ Envy from The Breakfast Club. I love me some DJ Envy and his wife. I want a threesome, okay? So I have a threesome nightcap. So my nightcap is with his wife, Gia Casey, and DJ Envy. He does a lot for his community. He does a lot for DJs. He's very giving, but at the same time, he kind of reminds me of me. At the same time, he's very stern, like he ain't nothing to play with. And he's very protective over his family. He loves his wife to death. He's very passionate about family. He works his ass off. I've been following him for some years now, and he is just my guy. So DJ Envy and his wife Gia Casey are my nightcap. We're having a threesome.
I'm mad at that.
Okay. I don't have an answer yet.
She got an answer. She just don't want to say nothing. She want to see what I'm gonna say first.
Oh,
but you gonna answer?
Chanel, do you have a nightcap?
Chanel, go ahead.
So I've been really getting into two different things lately, but I really have three like you. So one is NPR. I just happened to come across the radio station maybe a couple months ago. They have a lot of conversations about race lately. And it's really, really engaging for me. And the other part is sometimes they have like just regular people talk about something that's inspiring. And it's almost like hearing, like walking through their mind. And I find it to be just wonderful. And then I have a friend that I don't know any man like him. He's a coworker and he's a friend. He's married, his kids. He's super, super ultra smart and thoughtful and nurturing. And I just don't know a man like that. I haven't met anybody like him. We have very engaging conversation. And I'm friends with his wife. There's nothing on the side going on. And the other is, there's some lady on the radio. I can't think of her name right now. Nina Brown. I really like Nina Brown and Frank Ski, but her perspectives on things in life, I agree with, I click with. Mm-hmm. She's my friend in my head. So that's my third. Okay.
You guys come up with one?
He's gonna wait. He's gonna make me respond to this first. So unlike the answer he thinks I'm gonna give.
I don't think you're gonna get nothing.
Whatever. I love Tabitha Brown. And I have not watched her Friday with Tab and Chance. I haven't watched that yet. So at some point this evening after, because we got to get the kids together, I think I'm going to watch that. Because they talk about they're doing their Black Love series. And so they've been talking about, talking about it.
I love Black love.
I love it.
Okay.
Tabitha Brown.
I'm gonna watch Tabitha. It's 20 minutes.
That's it. Oh, threesome or nothing. Rihanna. Sight. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. If I could hang out with somebody,
No, your nightcap. What are you doing tonight? Like, what are you gonna do?
I mean, I'm hanging out with him as nightcap, right? Like Right. All right, still Rihanna, but I want to hang out with Diddy, and just because he's he's a super smart businessman, right? He just always looks like, when you look at his Instagrams and everything else, he just looked like he's having a good time, and I feel like in a world where everything is so serious and so just it's nonstop negativity, man. I don't want to. And don't get me wrong. I love having engaging conversations, and I love talking through, things that really matter to us as a people. But I just haven't let loose in a really long time, and I think it would be a whole vibe just to hang out and chill, and party at one of Diddy's parties. That's pretty much it. That's all I want to do.
Cool.
That would be chill for all of us. That would be chill for all of us.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just being real. Like, it would be dope to you want to vibe with somebody on an intellectual level, but I'm like, I don't really feel like tonight. I kind of just want to get out and have a ball. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, again, thank you for taking time to join me. I learned a lot about you guys tonight. So that is a wrap. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also follow me on IG at nightcap0424. And we will see you. So guys, I go on vacation. We normally record every 2 weeks. It's going to be a little longer. So we will be back in about 3.5 weeks.
Nice.